Are there any particular rules for how an episode is structured? I'm thinking in terms of particularly who gets the flashbacks. How many are there?
I don't think there is a hard and fast rule about when they occur or who gets them. You know, it starts in the very first episode of season 1. I think the first flashback is when Daniel is in the bathtub, which is something he hasn't been in 20 years, and he thinks back to Kerwin, and he's. What's so interesting that for those of you who haven't seen it, the first season we did 6 episodes and they take place in 7 days. So it's virtually one a day, and it's about Daniel coming out of death, you know, being in death row, and he has these the flashbacks he has, not just about characters he knew, but it's something that he was comfortable with. At least while it was prison, at least it was his prison, and he knew what to expect. In the open world, he didn't. No, I'm not sure that there is any rhyme or reason to the flashbacks. Ray wrote them in the script, and they work beautifully in the script. And for me, they certainly work well in the episodes.
I think the only common thread I can find, because we're always like, what's the common thread, you know? And there really isn't, which is so beautiful. Everything's always pretty surprising. Is we call it the Rectify way, or the Rectifilian way, as we coin it, is you know, if something really beautiful or something really wonderful or something really magnificent happens, and then you get run over by a truck or something, you know, like it's never going to have the full beauty, and then it was, you know, there's always that kind of dose of reality that comes in. So whatever you can find in the structure, you will usually find that rhythm.
Can you talk about the actual atmosphere on the set and just what it's like to work on this show? Because every set of every show I've been on has had a different kind of personality, and I'm wondering what the personality of this one is like. Go ahead.
Well, our group of actors are the most wonderful people that I've ever gotten to work with. They are just so, I think because we all worked a lot before Rectify came along, and nobody knew who we were. We've all just been working, and nobody knew who we were. So when we got this, we had a very good work ethic in place, and very much about the work, and very much like Ray definitely talks to us like we're a theater troupe. You know, we're not islands. You know, we work in conjunction, and we are also shooting in a very small town. So I lived with 2 of the other actors the entire season. So I go to work and then, oh, you again. Oh, there you are, you know. And then there's like one restaurant we all hang out at, and the Kroger and the coffee shop, you know. So you run, it's very
texting each other, like, pick up yogurt.
Totally, like one day, I think I went to Kroger like 4 times and ran into someone every time I went. But, you know, so it's a beautiful set, it's hard. We do shoot very fast. There's a lot to do, and our crew works incredibly hard. So it's very intense. You know, I mean, it is very intense. But everyone is very funny and wonderful, and comes very ready and prepared to play. So I mean, we're all about just trying to get the best product we can.
And as an actor himself, Ray, I think, probably gives the lion's share of his attention to the cast. Not that he's not concerned about the look and the sound of it, but he really is most comfortable with actors. And it was a great experience watching him in the casting process, because he was so respectful of every actor who came in, regardless of whether or not he or she was even close to being right. He would make sure that they had the time, probably reflecting on the times that he'd gone to auditions and not been treated well.
Can we talk a little bit about the show's treatment of guilt and innocence? Because that's one of the really striking parts of the show for me. There are many discussions during the course of the series about whether or not he has adjusted, whether or not he has changed, whether or not prison has rehabilitated him or traumatized him or brutalized him or whatever. But I'm not recalling a whole lot of moments where people are screaming and crying, I didn't do it, or yes, I did it and I'm sorry. I mean, it seems like it's just a deliberate attempt to not make that the sole focus. Am I right about that?
I think you're absolutely right about that. I would like to think that the whole issue, and it's a big one, But I think it's not in the scheme of the show of whether or not Daniel did it is almost beside the point. That it is, Daniel is who he is now. It's clear that after 19 years on death row, that no matter who you are, I don't care if you're the Mahatma and you went in, you're going to come out a damaged, dark, and I'm sorry to say, I'm sure a guilty person. But I think guilt is really almost beside the point in terms of the major themes of the show.